Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay, guys, I'm going to read Scientology and the Death of Kyle Brennan, and this is from his mother's website. And it does not reflect my opinions necessarily. It's just that I'm reading an article that she wrote. These are her opinions. I would be inclined to believe what she says. Kyle Brennan's story. My son, Kyle Brennan, a 20-year-old college student from Charlottesville, died under very suspicious circumstances in Clearwater, Florida, on February 16, 2007, while visiting his Scientologist father, Thomas Brennan. Kyle was a bright and creative young man who suffered from mild depression and anxiety. He was prescribed Lexapro by his Charlottesville-based psychiatrist, Dr. Stephen McNamara. Kyle died from a gunshot wound to the head. His medication was found locked in the trunk of his father's vehicle. I'm going to repeat that. His medication was found locked in the trunk of his father's vehicle. During Kyle's brief story in Clearwater, site of Scientology headquarters, his father was under the supervision of what is known as a Scientology Auditor. This person was Denise Miscavige, Gentile, the twin sister of the Church of Scientology's leader, David Miscavige. As you may be aware, Scientology is vehemently opposed to psychiatry and psychotropic medications. Kyle was not a Scientologist. We later learned that due to Scientology's convoluted beliefs regarding mental health, the church had issued an order to Kyle's father to handle Kyle. He would be dead within 36 hours. Kyle was traveling with thousands of dollars. All was stolen. A wrongful death lawsuit was filed against Thomas Brennan, Denise Miscavige, Gentile, her husband, Gerald Gentile, the Church of Scientology, and FLAG, another Scientology organization. They filed a motion for summary judgment that a federal judge questionably granted on December 6, 2011. The police report by Detective Stephen Bowling of the Clearwater Police Department is full of fabrications and half-truths. Big surprise. Otherwise known as aiding and abetting, police misconduct, and what else? I don't know. I can't think of them right now. We want the investigation reopened. We want to know what happened to Kyle on February 16, 2007. Here are but a few of the lies, deception, and unanswered questions raised by Detective Bowling's investigation, fake, and police report. All of the following can be verified by statements made in the police report and in the available depositions. I have to wonder how many people are in on this stuff. Lies concerning contact with Kyle's doctor and his diagnosis. Bowling and medical investigator Marty Skoll lied about contacting and consulting with Dr. Stephen McNamara, saying in the police report that the doctor confirmed that Kyle had been exhibiting early signs of schizophrenia to include paranoia and delusions, and advised that he was not aware of any major side effects if one was to suddenly stop taking Lexapro. Wait, where is it? Hold on. However, Dr. McNamara, under oath, stated that he had absolutely no contact with either Bowling or Scholl. He was probably harassed. Perplexed and dumbfounded by their statements, he said he was bound by confidentiality not to release information about a patient's treatment. Yeah, remember how that used to be? Under oath, he stated that Kyle's diagnosis was mild anxiety and depression, and that there are major side effects from the sudden termination of taking Lexapro, especially for someone Kyle's age. That seems to be a contradiction right there, isn't it? He changed the diagnosis to cover Scientology, I think. I don't know if he did it, but that's what was done. Lies and red flags concerning police procedures. Asked by Kyle's family whether gunshot residue test had been performed on his hands, Bowling answered no. I'm not even an investigator. That would be number one thing you do. Asked if the weapon that killed Kyle had been tested for fingerprints, Bowling answered no. We never processed the weapon or the scene for fingerprints. Please, police officers and detectives, would you please chime in? Please. All of us are begging you to get involved. Bowling answered no, we never processed the weapon on the scene or the scene for fingerprints. However, the police report revealed that Kyle's hands and the weapon had been tested. The GSR test was withheld from further analysis by the detective. The weapon tested for fingerprints came back negative for fingerprints or ridge detail. Boy, it must be a freaking miracle, huh? Also, at Thomas Brennan's apartments, where Kyle died, the bullet that killed Kyle was never found. Neither was a box of ammunition. With a missing bullet, no GSR test, and a weapon negative for fingerprints, it cannot be determined who pulled the trigger or the weapon that blanked my son, or if he was blanked by the weapon found on the scene. Additional police red flags. Notes taken by the police have been destroyed. Yeah, they're really good at that. Officer Jonathan Yoon, one of the first to arrive at Brennan's apartment that night, shredded the notes of his first interview with Brennan. Wow. They're literally destroying police evidence. Not that any of us are surprised. Detective Bowling destroyed the notes of his first interview with Brennan. Marty Scholl was told to bring her notes to her deposition, but said that she had forgotten to do so. Wow. Red flags concerning the cause of death. Kyle's death was ruled a bluicide. Medical investigator Scholl told family members that she ruled his death a bluicide because she was told that a bluicide note was found with Kyle's body. Detective Bowling, however, stated under oath that no bluicide note was found. A reporter for the St. Petersburg Times, who presumably interviewed someone at the Clearwater Police Department, wrote that there were 2 bluicide notes. That really doesn't add up there. Also, Kyle's actions in the time just before his passing don't sound like those of someone considering bluicide. He made a bank deposit in Clearwater to make sure his checking account stayed open, and in the hour before his death, he called several Clearwater area personal injury lawyers. Oh, listen to that. Brennan's lies concerning the night of Kyle's death. It was estimated that Kyle died at Brennan's apartment at 11 p.m. The 911 call went out at 12:10. Detective Bowling was informed by family members that Brennan had told us different arrival times for that evening. We were first told that he arrived home at 10:30 p.m. after having dinner with friends. Wonder what those friends' names were. Brennan later changed the time and story, saying he arrived home between 11:15 and 11:20 after spending the day selling books at the state fair. Of course, if his first story is true, it places him in the apartment at the time of Kyle's death. This would also increase the length of time before 9/11 was called. Which one of these stories is true? These multifarious stories, convoluted timelines, and lies went unchallenged by the detective. To top it off, Bowling wrote in the police report, Thomas Brennan returned home near midnight. I'm going to start looking into this guy. You know, I'm smart enough to know I have to be careful too. Lies told to protect Denise Miscavige Gentile. The Gentiles first denied their relationship with Brennan, denied that Denise is a Scientology chaplain, and denied that Denise was Brennan's chaplain. These statements were disproved. Scientology documents proved Denise's status as a chaplain and that she was indeed Brennan's chaplain, meaning they had a very close relationship. Also, Denise at first denied that she went to Brennan's apartment the night of Kyle's death. Her husband, however, revealed that both had traveled to Brennan's apartment. Yeah, because they're all lying so much they can't keep the story straight. Other red flags concerning events the night Kyle died. As stated above, Bowling in the police report said that Thomas Brennan returned home near midnight. However, on another page of the police report, Denise Miscavige Gentile, Brennan's Scientology chaplain, said Tom had stopped by my house to borrow a book. It was around 11. What book would that be? I'm wondering. When he got home in like 10 minutes, he called me up. This places Brennan at his apartment, the location of Kyle's death, at 11:10. Also in Gerald Gentile's deposition, he said that after Brennan called his wife, I quickly threw on a pair of pants, threw on my sneakers, and was in my pajamas. We just ran out the door and jumped in the car and ran down to Brennan's apartment. This statement places both the Gentiles at Brennan's apartment at 11:20 or maybe 11:30. Again, the 9/11 call went out at 12:10 a.m. What were these three individuals doing in Brennan's apartment for the 30 to 40 minutes prior to someone finally calling 9/11? Yeah, inquiring minds want to know. Clearwater Police. These are but a few of the lies, half-truths, and contradictions easily found in the police report and depositions. Told about these things, Detective Bowling did nothing. The Clearwater Police have denied my son's right to a fair investigation. My family's right to know exactly what happened to Kyle that night has also been denied. We believe something very different happened that evening, something different from the explanation found in the Clearwater Police report. The false information written by the detective has been used in court documents by the attorneys representing the cult of Scientology. The death of my young son has been devastating enough. The aftermath is horrific. The cult of Scientology dictatorial control over its adherents is not just deeply disturbing, it's also immoral and dangerous. Brainwashed by their religion, Scientologists seem to have lost the concept of the boundary separating right from wrong. I don't think they ever had it. They've been told by the cult's founder, L. Ron Hubbard, that in the pursuance of a just cause, Scientology, of course, it's perfectly acceptable to step across that boundary at will. They've been taught that the collective, the organization, the cult of Scientology comes first. Sounds like the old USSR and North Korea and China, all those places. That must be a coincidence, hey? It comes before them, before their families, and sometimes even before the lives of their children. Oh, every day before the lives of their children. Victoria L. Britton. So I will make sure to put the link in the description box. Have a nice night, nice day wherever you are. Peace.